Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are back today with the season finale of Star Trek Adventures Aegis Cold Warriors Part 1. Before we get started here, I did just want to say thank you to everybody who's been following through this long first season of ours. I know it's an obligatory joke, but it's been a long road getting from there to here. At some point, we'll have a proper soundboard for that. Until then, I'm just going to let us get right into this. For those that are following here on the archive for those that are following in the archive, so once we complete this part, we may take a very slight break, which for the live recording and streaming purposes makes sense as we are starting to approach the holidays, but we'll let you know more about our plans for Season 2 as you go. If you want to keep up on that easily, just check the links in the description of the video. For those joining us live on Twitch, there are, of course, any number of commands you can type in to follow our different social elements, keep up with the archives, and, of course, the community Discord that we have. So we invite you to check all of those out at your leisure. But yeah, with that, I think it's best that we just go right in. Panda, please take it away.
So I imagine for the start of this log, just a scene of the captain, like her ready room. It's dark. The captain sits down, takes a deep breath, lights a cigar, and just starts typing this out. Um, as it reads, captain's log, Mako Colonel Lillian Sharp, November 14th, 2154. For two interstellar powers that can never seem to agree to anything, it seems they both agreed that we live in very strange times. While the Great Machine, as the Calamese had called the device we had discovered 3 weeks prior, had given a reset to the pieces on the board in the war between two blood enemies, it seems both of them have taken that moment in unexpected ways. The Vulcan Serenites, under their leader by the name of T'Pau, taken the moment given and replaced the more hawkish government that had manipulated their people for a generation. When most powers would consolidate the gains, ill-gotten as they may be, the new Vulcan government instead chose to stand down their forces. Those remaining stubborn commands still loyal to Vlos found themselves with ship crews unwilling to listen to further orders. Though baffled, it wouldn't be beyond the Andorian Imperial Guard to treat this evil strategic disorganization and ease of the knife from their throats to give the same back to their enemies. It had been that way for many before, and not just these two, and yet maybe it's the miracle they were given. Maybe they were suffering a lot more damage than we realize. Or maybe they saw the chance at a rare opportunity to establish a more reasonable peace when there never had been before. I can only hope it's the last one. Regardless, while they are picking up the pieces instead of spilling more blood, the near-death experience will probably shroud the Andorian people for a while. Maybe these talks can help start the healing process with that. That said, it isn't only the two local powers that have come to the table. The subspace disruption has sowed chaos and continues to do so to countless space lanes for whole sectors beyond our landing point, making everyone, even the more shrewd powers out there, to suddenly find themselves wanting a little more security as a whole. Ithanites, Mazarites, Tellarites, and other minor powers have insisted not only two warring powers, but a potential for a more long-term assurances toward peace and security. On a more personal level, the Great Machine has certainly changed things for the Aegis. While I had publicly commended the crew to Starfleet, in truth, it was made clear once more that despite our mission statement toward exploration, the crew is severely lacking in the area of diplomacy. There is, as of yet, no real material for first contact diplomacy, but Patel and Stewart have assured me that the right amount of material of statecraft diplomacy, xenosociology, and etiquette would do well to create a curriculum for the crew to learn. A few incentives have been made to help encourage success to an otherwise difficult educational courses. I've even requested that the command staff be I've even requested the command staff be examples of exception for such trial, which I'm sure they will no doubt prove. Whether any of that is successful, already the Aegis has been the cleanest it's probably ever been since the dockyards, and their frequent 6-kilometer cardio runs in 1.05 G has certainly made the crew a lot more fit. When the Aegis isn't in makeshift classes, I make an effort to keep them on their toes with battle drills. It's funny that somehow the Quiet of Peace has the ship run more of these than we've ever had before, and all the more difficult. While I had expanded the drills to include possible social avenues, I made sure that my subordinate officers are given scenario situations that few would want to be placed in. The crew once more have proven to do well with these, but it's Patel and Romanov that I aim these tests at. Lieutenant Commander Romanov seems well capable, but highly reluctant, something I hope these drills will shake her from. It's Commander Patel that I'm most impressed by. Previously, he had been a bit more. Oh, did I lose my? Oh, okay. Previously, he had similar, often overwhelmed. Previously, I did not edit that. Previously, he often was overwhelmed and shy to command, yet now he seems more put together. I can still see panic in the slight posture and hesitation deep and not in the eyes, but he's given these tasks a lot more than he ever did before. Which, if you think, would have leave the captain, a Colonel Lillian Sharp, with a fair bit of free time, you're sorely mistaken. I've been buried in reports. While the Great Machine discovery was no doubt profound, its actions historically, if not cosmically, game-changing, it has led to no end in meetings for me, and apparently one lengthy report wouldn't do. Every head of Starfleet and their commands, Vulcan Science Academy, Andorian Science Academy, Tellarite think tanks, Ithanite trading commissions, Tellarite trading commissions, supplemental meetings with each of the Starfleet commands. I can't count the number of organizations, intellectuals, military brass, and personalities that suddenly discovered my name is the one to talk to. It never stopped, to the point where I ducked calls altogether. But this is certainly strange times, as both Casey and Forrest unanimously sent a priority message to inform me that I couldn't do that. Good PR and all. Regardless, when I wasn't working on my duties or constructing drills, I was stuck with interviews. Maybe if Zeral was here, he could probably be amused by my suffering. Or I could just throw all these people onto him and make it an order. I wonder if he's amused reading or seeing my suffering right now. Anyway, I was only all too happy to find Prime Minister Samuels insisted all available Starfleet vessels in the local area to help the new task. Earth has offered to mediate for Vulcan and Andoria, and even convinced the Tellarites to join the talks, which is a big deal going forward. The Aegis has initially been tasked with other Earth ships to deter any Vulcan or Andorian vessels from approaching, while the Enterprise did all the diplomatic heavy lifting. Instead, Joint Command has changed the orders, and now it is the Aegis who finds themselves receiving a diplomatic officer at the behest of the United Earth Diplomatic Service, taking them from a courier ship Niagara and rendezvous with the NX-01. It's a simple taxi service, but something tells me that things are going to get harder from here. And that is it. Whew.
All right, Captain, thank you for getting us through that log. And so we find ourselves those 3 weeks or so after the events of the last session, and indeed the last major plot arc that you have had, where the Aegis has been extremely busy in that time. Some of it with the captain's own devices in mind, but others of you may have had other things going on. So I'd like to take a moment, first to go through the list of everyone. Sorry, one moment, everybody.
I'm not the only one that's getting interrupted.
Well, I just realized I wasn't feeding in power properly to something, so I'm going to start that one again. Okay.
Reroute power.
Yes. Power, rerouting, alright. I would like to take a moment to ask everybody with characters present on the ship right now if, well, first and foremost, what you think, if there's anything special that you think that your players have been, or your characters have been doing to pass the time while we've been between missions. If you would like scenes, they can be done somewhat in retrospect, something to account for that time. Otherwise, we can at least allude to previous events.
I mean, I think the important question is who's running labs.
Yes. Well, I think that, I mean, I imagine that the captains put everyone through the paces, at least senior staff-wise. Let's go, let's just go down in rank order first. So, Drone, I would ask you first and foremost, what else would you say Lieutenant Commander Patel has been up to in these past few days, or past few weeks?
I think besides the drills that seem to be never ending in the classroom sessions that I'm running with Ensign Stewart, there would have definitely been some time where probably Romanov and Patel were trying to figure out how best to tackle Soral's ship in a respectful but very curious way.
Yeah, because isn't it going to get delivered somewhere?
Yes, indeed. We can cover it more in depth, but upon your next stop by Earth, you will very likely be transferring the Vulcan shuttle away.
Yeah, then I think we'd be definitely trying to at least secure the databanks on that thing. Make a copy of everything that we can.
And look, I've been in here more than anybody else. I've helped Soral on numerous occasions. I know where he keeps his crap. I was an Alpha Centaurian. We know we're a scavenger, so to speak. In a lot of...
Oh. Well, if you would so like, we may be able to visit that with a scene here in just a little bit.
I don't have a particular scene in mind for it, but it's definitely something that would have been on my to-do list, or on Patel's to-do list, I guess.
Yeah, and it would have also been on my characters as well.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right. Well, I will go ahead and ask, while that covers what Drone was doing, and Romanov, that gets at least some of what you were doing, is there anything else that you would be preoccupying your time with?
Yeah, document his lab stuff. I never bothered him much. As long as he kept the lab, within regulation in the sense that it wasn't a danger. I believe he was given a lot of latitude and very little oversight. So, I think it might be interesting to go in there and document that stuff too. And I'll mention that to Patel as well.
Yeah, of course. Makes total sense.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And any, I think Patel would also want to see, like, especially if Romanov is like going through things to see if Soral made any like changes to the lab or anything like that. I think Patel's idea would be keep the improvements, but maybe get rid of some of the more unorthodox stuff that we don't necessarily know what it does. Just to make sure that we don't accidentally, I don't know, do some weird space science magic happening.
Accidentally create an episode in and of itself. Yeah.
Accidentally opening a sarcophagus of something.
It's why I left the stuff behind. Come on, people.
We'll
Accidentally create 2 Patels.
we'll
Oh,
we'll
no.
say we'll save that for season 2. Well, while and I think we will have a chance to at least visit a little bit of that when we get going here. First, however, I would like to check in with the one remaining player with the character, main character that is presently on the ship. Craig, what do you think Shira has been up to in these past few weeks?
She's absolutely steered completely clear of Sorol's shuttle. Otherwise, she's kind of just been keeping to herself. Kind of happy that the war is hopefully over, but at the same time, she's, as humans would say, been waiting for the other shoe to drop.
How is she doing with the classes?
It depends. If the example doesn't involve Vulcans, she's probably doing quite well. If it involves Vulcans, then the sudden urge to start pulling phasers and just shoot.
At the
Trade
very
agreement. Accidentally shoot the Vulcan. What do you mean you accidentally shoot?
no, it's the diplomatic class is just when they get to the scenarios, it just evolves into D&D into a D&D game where Shira is the barbarian that constantly attacks the first person they meet.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Well, first, let me ask, I suppose, do any players want particular scenes right now?
I got nothing.
Okay. Well, I suppose, for one thing, I did promise some resolution or pursuit of another storyline, so I will offer 2 options. One, if Romanov would like the opportunity to do a little bit more work with the, specifically with some items from Soral's shuttle, then we can go into some of that. Patel, you'd be more than welcome to join in, as with anyone else that wants a character there. To set the stage here, this is going to be within a relatively short time when you are expecting a rendezvous with the courier ship Niagara. But you still have some time to wrap up a little bit of work, as it were.
Well, anybody that wants to join in on the Soral fun is welcome to. Soral would have appreciated that.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
I definitely need you, Patel. I need your brain.
Yep.
The captain might make a cameo. Sure.
Fair enough.
Anybody who wants to show up, please do.
Yep.
Sorol, what are you doing here? No.
He's
Just
there.
standing
We
behind
just-
you. This is really interesting.
He's there. He's just subspace displaced in such a way that we cannot pick up his frequencies.
He's just there, and he's just pointing for some reason. So to set the stage, Aegis still on course currently to arrive at the rendezvous point with the courier ship Niagara. While you are on course, Patel and Romanov are going through some of the bits of technology that have been removed from Soral's ship. The science oriented, of course, to the science experiments. A lot has probably been miscellaneous work. There are a few items that remain uncategorized or seriously examined. One of those items, the modified tricorder, I think, that Soral had carried around, and indeed that had been with him up to the point that he disappeared along with the Great Machine. it had simply fallen to, clattered to the floor, been left behind with the rest of you. And yes, there were a few other devices, a few things that maybe he had pulled from storage in order to look over that. Let's see here. As you are examining and categorizing, the door opens and one Chief Fernier, the ship's quartermaster, and member of the operations staff comes through, wheeling in a crate of a few more items. Well, I think that's the last of what I feel comfortable, well, at least for today, that's last of what I feel comfortable, moving around, sirs. Some of those things are still plugged in, you know.
We appreciate your effort.
Yeah. Tell you, the one that doesn't make much sense, at least one that's drawn a lot of power from the shuttle, seems to be this chamber that just seems illuminated around as if there's some sort of energy field in place, but near as I can tell, all the sensor readouts suggest there's nothing in the chamber.
Yeah, that's because Sorrel wanted it that way.
I guess so. Your guess is as good as mine on that, Lieutenant Commander.
Just kind of a educated guess.
Yeah.
Using logic. Okay.
Well, says, there's one other thing among this, he says as he sets aside a few spare bits of boxes. Some of them probably look like just broken bits of equipment, which I would imagine, Felix, would it be fair to say Sorrel kept some things that were just probably broken?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. There's a fair bit of junk that he rifles through, but one thing he produces would be what appears to be a very old box of some sort. It actually, Patel, looks a little more familiar to you. I did find, apparently one item that he'd checked out for further examination. Seems like he was, I don't know, must have been on the back burner, but there was some sort of a sensor analysis he was going to start on this. Doesn't seem like it got underway, though. I think it's from that cargo we picked up from the Ithanites a few months back.
Is this the biomaterial?
The whole consult a pad. Yeah. I think based on his notes, there were signs of possibly some sort of biological material inside the containment, inside the container.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct, Quartermaster.
Yeah. If you want it, do with it what you will. I actually don't like holding this anymore. I don't care how old it is.
I look over at Patel. He actually vaguely mentioned that he was interested in this stuff, so I'm not surprised he was looking at it.
Yeah, I think we do need to treat it with a level of care, though. I mean, not just out of respect for Sorrel, but if I remember correctly, this little discovery was also made during a time of some strange happenings on the ship.
Yes.
And, just on the off chance that they're linked, I'd like to handle this thing with kid gloves.
I can already tell you they were linked, Commander.
Well, so long as we don't summon any more ghosts, monsters, or cartoon characters, I think that we'll be okay.
You sure? You don't like cute frogs? Hello, Mike.
I wouldn't.
Can you please not do that around the on that ship? I'm pretty sure Crichton is still glancing.
He's not here. He's not
Yep.
here.
The cabin approaches. Yeah.
Yep.
The camera bumps over to the bridge real quick, and we just see him sitting at his workstation, and Mr. Crichton just hears like an echo. Ooh, what?
He knows. It was mentioned. Quantum entanglement.
Yeah, the captain approaches.
Yep, the door opens as Romanov is jumping into the trying to replicate the dulcet tones of Michigan P. Frog. Yes, Captain. Sorry, just offloading some material from the shuttle. I'll step out of your way here.
As you are. Patel, Romanov, anything of interest or concern with a lot of this so far?
Just cataloging everything at this point. He was looking into the bio material from the unusual incident that we had, the dead alien material that conjured up many things.
Patel picks up the modified hand scanner. I assume, is it like a Vulcan design, like a T'Pol hand scanner, or did he modify one of ours?
Actually,
Or is it something else?
I don't
And
exactly.
I'll look at Captain Sharp and point at the one with the body in it. Just mouth the frog.
Let's see. I'm actually trying to remember. Felix, had Soral's modification been to one of the existing tricorders? Or one of the Aegis tricorders, or had it been a personal?
I think we used an Aegis tricorder in the,
I think
thought
he
experiment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there is probably some Vulcan tech supplementing it. It would take further examination to discern precisely how it's been modified, but
that would be something that would very much grab Romanov's attention, because if it's a better design than what we're already using, or it could be a specialized piece of equipment, that would catch her attention.
okay. Well, would either of you want to examine any of the gear or any of the objects brought back from the shuttle right now? Maybe take a quick little task?
Yeah, and we will work together, because Patel can look at it from the science point of view, and I can look at it from the engineering point of view.
Okay. Patel, do you want to analyze the same thing, or do you want to look for a different, look at a different item or object from the bunch?
I think since we're still in like the cataloging phase, Patel would go for like the most immediate and probably simplest thing, and that would be the hand scanner, because that might have immediate applications for us.
Fair
Yes,
enough.
To see what these improvements could be. The box with the ghosts inside of it, for lack of a better term, he doesn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Fair enough.
It's not right now.
Patel is learning.
I want to give that to Starfleet when they take the shuttle. Can we do that? Can we just stick it in there with that?
Yeah.
This problem?
Take it, get it off my freaking ship.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I'm going to put it in with the stuff logged in with his as mission leftovers he was examining.
Okay, well.
Just to add a note on that entry that Jupiter Station should be a little bit more careful when they open that thing.
Oh, I'm going to put every advisory that I possibly can on it. I don't know that I'll have enough stickers for this particular thing.
All right.
If not, I'll make more stickers.
Okay, well, I think that to roll on this is going to be reason and engineering to examine the... Actually, insight would make more sense for this one. Insight plus engineering to examine the modified scanner. The difficulty on this will be reduced from its maximum, but as a special quirk of how, like the nature of this, the difficulty...
Reverse engineering would apply?
That would definitely apply here.
Okay. Do you want me to spend momentum, guys?
I don't believe you have any. Also, I don't believe
Nope.
Panda is in
No,
the...
it's yeah, I haven't joined Roll20 yet. I just realized that.
Yep.
Um,
I'm going to recall what we have.
we also
reset, or we say momentum?
we also reset because it's a new adventure.
Yep. That reminds me, the GM also takes additional threat.
14.
You keep your threat between adventures?
I do.
That's wrong. Unfair.
You lived. Hey, you lived through it. You lived through larger threat pools during our last campaign.
True.
By the skin of our teeth.
Oh, and she did explain to Shira that teeth don't have skin. It's just a human saying.
Spectacular. Chat has no context for that, nor do they need it. Don't give it to them.
We're
Oh,
not.
and one of those warning stickers, I will put a frog on it.
God. All right, give me the reason and give me that reason and jeez.
Insight
Yes.
with reverse engineering. Here it goes. Okay, 2 successes, and I got 1x, and we've got 1 extra from the legendary Kieran Patel.
That you do. So with what you have ascertained from the analysis here, the scanner has been modified very heavily. It appears that there are supplemental power supplies and data storage devices in order to help basically your initial supposition would be that it is meant to boost performance. However, I mean, a Starfleet hand scanner already is a fairly optimized bit of equipment. There may be more sophisticated devices, more sophisticated sensors, let's say, but processing power-wise, it seems perfectly serviceable. It does seem, though, as you run through just very slight diagnostics of the device, like this is not a particularly intrusive initial examination doing for the cataloging, it does seem as though there is considerably more space committed to processing power right now, or rather to some element of data storage. So Zoral may have tried to perhaps augment the scanner's uses in some way, try to make it a much more sophisticated computational device. To what ends, you're not entirely certain, but that is essentially where you are at the moment with it.
I'll start mapping out the OS. The OS will tell me what he was using it for, because it'll tell me the distribution of computational power across the spectrum of the device.
Would you be like hooking it up then to the ship's computer and setting the diagnostic on it?
No, a separate. Remember, I have my own custom.
You're thinking.
Right. Remember, I set up pads for examining stuff like this, and they're hot rodded to do that without punching into the ship's system. I'm using those. I pull
Coward.
Dude, I ain't hooking up crap. The little Lillian Sharp on my shoulder says, "Don't hook it up to the computer."
Yeah, and Soral is on the other side. Do it. Do it.
I know. Yeah. And the Soral has often won, and she almost does. The Soral almost wins, but she plugs it into the exterior, the specialized one.
Fair enough.
But that is pretty much what's on either of her shoulders.
Yep.
Yes, there is a Soral on her opposite shoulder.
So you start the mapping process and get your pad to work. As all of this goes on, and I'll
talk Patel through what I'm doing so that he understands.
Yep. As you are doing so, a shipwide intercom plays. Bridge to Captain Sharp. Please acknowledge. Bridge to Captain Sharp. Please acknowledge.
She'll take a few steps and then hit the intercom. This is the captain.
Captain, Ensign Connolly informs me that we are about to make our rendezvous. The Niagara is arriving on station as well, so we are prepared to pull the ship out of warp and commence docking maneuvers.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Shall I arrange for any personnel to meet on the at the airlock when ready.
Have Lieutenant Shira meet Patel and I at the airlock. Make sure that is within full honors. For an appropriate dress. There you go. The proper word.
Yes, sir. All right.
She'll look over Patel. Better get changed.
You want me to keep working in here, or?
Just so long as you keep to your shift, Lieutenant Commander.
We're good. Ship's tight. I'm not hooking this thing up to the ship's computer. I've got one of my remotes examining it.
If you don't know what it does,
Don't hook it up. Yeah, I know.
Don't touch it. She says.
I know.
Gives a smile.
This is pretty straightforward. I'm analyzing the OS on his tricorder. I suspect it's custom.
On the way out of the lab, Patel just looks over his shoulder and smiles weakly at Romanov and just says, "Have fun."
I will.
Yep. A little bit of light music picks up as the captain and executive officer walk off the scene, and Romanov just hunches down, interested in working on the system here. We then.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Romanov. I couldn't resist. Sorry.
No,
Well,
that's
wait,
fair.
what did the little Sorrel on her shoulder say? What did the little Sorrel on her shoulder say?
Bold of you to assume that was your shoulder, Sorrel. Anyway, we cut to an exterior space shot where the Aegis has come out of warp, and shortly afterwards, a smaller, slightly more angular at the tip scout vessel come out. Let's back this up a little bit. Let's also not show you the promotion screen because we don't need logos floating in space.
No, that's for the commercial break.
Let's see there. This should look better.
Just a simple title splash, as we don't have enough time for the full intro.
Yes. No, we skipped over the title credits.
Look at that! Look at that beauty.
Yeah. No. Ahead of you, a small scout, I believe one of the Discovery class scouts, which is modeled off some of the older older civilian ships, like the Conestoga colonial vessels, compacted, slightly better armed, and made significantly faster relative to the old Warp 1 ships, has dropped out of warp ahead of you. The nimble little ship begins nudging itself with maneuvering thrusters and allowing itself to pull alongside your starboard airlock. Starboard. Okay. With appropriate time passing as the ships undergo their intricate little ballet of light maneuvers and matching of speed in order to come alongside and nudge themselves into a position where they can connect at the airlock, which I'm sure we get a very dazzling display of the two ships connecting together. We join.
How does Shira look as we're all standing there waiting in dress uniforms?
I was going to get to that question, actually.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. We join you, Patel, and Lieutenant Shira, whom I must ask first, for the dress occasion, how has the ship's armory officer and Andorian military attaché chosen to dress for this?
I'm guessing I probably only ever took the regular Starfleet uniform. So I've probably got the lovely silver Andorian Imperial Guard uniform. Look quite lovely, really.
Indeed, indeed.
It shimmers like silvery ice.
Yeah. And then more to the other point, how is Shira wearing her expression? How does she seem outwardly to be doing as you wait with the other two senior officers?
I think she's probably, if you don't know Shira well, she probably looks quite fine. If you do, you probably know there's been a degree of anxiousness around her. It's probably showing up in her antenna a bit.
Right. Lieutenant?
Captain, sorry, I don't have a Starfleet dress uniform, so ta-da.
You look quite sharp, regardless.
Thank you.
There's a gentle, subtle sound of the constriction of the magnetic interlocks between the Aegis and the Niagara as the airlocks begin to work into place. Appropriate pressurization takes place, and then a crewman off-screen begins blowing a bosun whistle, which is it is those three tones which I cannot replicate. I am not capable of whistling. I also don't want to risk those of you in the chat pain of playing a full whistling effect here. So we will simply say that the crewman gives the appropriate whistle as the door opens, and through the airlock steps this gentleman. Felix, please give us a description.
You son of a bitch.
Correct, but how dare you?
And that's the first thing you say to the guest on board our ship.
How's everyone else dressed? Aside Shira is glittering like a sea of ice.
Lillian Sharp is wearing the dress uniform for Mako's. And it is perfect, immaculate. And her hair, which has it's double faded, still is, though it's a slight longer because it's probably been a while since she's cut her hair, has been slicked back and certainly, appropriate for her rank.
Excellent. So the airlock is also in full commander dress uniform, which might not be as immaculate as yours, but it certainly fills the room. So to
Well,
I'm
a Mako. It's literally beaten into us to be immaculate. So
fair. He is
With the
over 6 foot. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, you say uniform, we're talking more of like a suit type affair for the diplomatic officer, are we not? Just to...
Yeah, like whatever the appropriate shenanigans are there. I'm not 100% how that looks at that time. So.
I mean, you're a civilian, so probably like a suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 21st. It's 22nd.
I mean, kind of civilian.
It's
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, this weird pre-Starfleet thing,
Yeah.
In official regalia. Let's put it this way. It's probably the better term.
Fair enough.
He looks official. He just looks very official. By design, you will realize. He's over 6 foot. Probably not that much. Maybe surprisingly powerful build. So broad shoulders, fairly. You would say fighter, in a way. He has a bit of pike hair. I can't get this reference out of my head, so I have to use it. Which goes a bit gray in the beard, as well in the temples. And he steps in the airlock, but not on the ship. And he says, so observing all of naval traditions, permission to come on board, Captain.
Permission granted.
Thank you very much.
You will notice something that it's somebody who is, if they're familiar with naval ranking and tempo, this is a mid-20s woman who has the rank of captain. That is really, really awkward.
You see no surprise on his face.
Yeah. Like, if anything, Patel should be the captain in that regard.
Yeah, he would probably shake your hand, shake Patel's hand. Is there like a player question?
How firm the hand? I gotta ask, how firm the handshake?
Firm but controlled. So like he isn't trying to crush you or anything, but it's a firm handshake.
Equally so. All right, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. What's an appropriate Andorian greeting? Is there one?
I have no idea.
Can we just? I mean, if there is one, he would probably see that he's kind of.
Probably some kind of bow their head and twitch of the antennas.
Yeah, he's probably. It's like you see maybe like the twitch where he starts to extend the arm, but then takes the whole dress uniform in, and then does as much of the greeting as he can. Just apologize. I can't imitate the antenna. Maybe future diplomatic efforts will allow us to do that.
But thank you for trying.
Was that correct, roughly?
Yes.
I'm glad to hear. If it's not, please tell me. If I have the feeling it will come up in the future. So he just has like a small duffel bag. That's like all he has. So where do you go from here?
Your transfer papers, sir.
Of course. And he gives you a pad. Is it a pad again already? Or is it actual papers at that time?
You know, I do like the idea of I do kind of like the idea of him coming in with like actual hard copy paper instead of a pad for this one. So
I could imagine there is still at that time.
Yeah. You receive an envelope.
PDF copy on iPad 55.
Oh no, Apple was the first to fall in the Third World War. That's my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, he would give you like the folded transfer orders.
Yep.
She'll take it, and there, Patel, you'll notice, and probably since you're a diplomat, there's a slight pause as she notices what it says, and gives a quick scan before just putting it at her side. Thank you, sir. Welcome aboard, Commander Horn.
Thank you, Captain. I also have another one, but that's... And he kind of looks around. Just between us.
She nods. Well, whether we can get to business or would you like a tour, sir?
Oh, I have plenty of rest. So if it's all right with you, I'm happy to go straight to business.
Excellent. Lieutenant Sharon, if you can lead the way to the ready room.
Of course. Follow me.
I do.
All right.
I hope the trip wasn't too arduous, especially given the situation at hand.
That was quite exciting, actually. This is the third, if you count the transport to the ship in orbit. The third ship I'm on. Ever. That's the first time I'm leaving Earth, actually.
How was the experience to be in warp travel?
I expected more. And he's making like a vague hand gesture, like something. You know, something so monumental should have more... should feel more impactful.
Just a small, controlled smile. I see. Well, this isn't the NX-01, but certainly I'm sure that Conley will find that as a challenge to give you a good impression.
Should be careful what I wish for, right? Well, let's not make more problems than we already are facing.
But yeah, there's some minor small talk as we get up to the main room.
Yeah, you will definitely notice that he is doing a lot of noticing himself, like the crew menu pass, layout of the ship, even though he seems somewhat familiar with it.
Right.
So he probably has seen the plans at some point. But like just taking in the atmosphere, like how crewmen talk to you, to Shira, vice versa. You recognize a sponge when you see one.
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
You recognize a sponge when you see one. He's just taking in all the things, just
Yeah.
absorbing information.
While Sharp keeps niceties, she does like watch at the corner of her eye, like a hawk, because you are new on the ship, and she doesn't know you.
Can I last one session or go get stabbed by the captain?
I mean, no.
To what? To which part?
While this is going on, I should ask, how is Patel taking all of this in?
I think he's he definitely recognizes the sponginess of Commander Horn. Like this whole like taking it all in on your first trip out into space thing is something that Patel experienced relatively recently, I think, too. So it's somewhat familiar to him, I think. But the casualness that Commander Horn seems to be taking all of this in is something that's completely different from what Patel experienced. So like I imagine on Patel's like first space trip or whatever, he felt every deck plate like vibrating. He was just that nervous about it. Where this guy seems to be cool as a cucumber. But he's not really saying anything. He's just sort of taking it in. He's taking in Horn, taking everything in.
Yeah.
When we're in the turbo lift, she says, "Where's my manners? This is my second command and head of the science department, Kiran Patel, commander.
Of course.
And this is Lieutenant Shira, my head of security, and the attaché to, or former attaché to Andoria."
We can only speculate what that role transforms into next, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a bit of mischievousness in that statement, and he's definitely watching your reaction to it.
Yeah, she seems like, yeah, that's like, you've just reminded me there's something bad can happen.
Awkward elevator silence.
No. Yeah, so my apologies as a player. I meant the conference room. Those people don't exist anymore. Get the fuck out of here.
No, they don't exist, period. They're gone.
They're gone.
Conley, Romanoff, Crichton, Lambeth, skedaddle.
All stopped existing. Blinked out of existence. Queued away.
Like a card game
Sorrel
happening
is
in
just
here.
snapping his fingers. Okay, clear now.
Oh god, is that how queues were made?
Who knows?
She'll look over to Horn. Would you like the Lieutenant Sharon to be present for this meeting, or shall I summon my third in command?
Aside from the points I've been instructed to discuss explicitly only with you, I'm happy for anyone to be present that you deem necessary.
She will signal to Crichton. Crichton, can you get Romanov into the conference room, please?
Aye, sir. Niagara has also detached, and we are free and clear to navigate, sir. Shall I have Conley proceed to the rendezvous coordinates with Enterprise?
Yes. Take us to warp 2.5 for the moment.
Aye, sir.
And then she'll wait. She'll sit down and wait.
Yep. A few minutes will pass. Any of you that idly look out the window will notice that the stars suddenly begin streaking to the begin streaking on a definite course away as the ship re-enters warp.
As the ship starts moving and everyone is waiting, I would probably like just walk to the window and just watch the outside.
Would you like a drink, Horn?
Gladly, water, please.
There's just like a small pause and a slow nod of head of someone who's a frequent drinker, is being told, yeah, no, another teetotal. Great. She just
We are on business right now.
Yep.
yeah,
Afterwards we can talk.
Yeah. Amidst all of this, as you are getting Horn the glass of water, the door opens, and Romanov, you enter the scene now. You see Sharp, Patel, and Shira all arrayed at their. Patel and Shira are seated at this point. Captain Sharp is at the drink dispenser, getting some water. And there seems to be a new individual dressed in fairly nice, well-trimmed civilian garb. Given that the way Enterprise sets it up, it is closer to what we would know as like a business formal type situation in the 21st century. So it is still like definitely a suit and jacket of some sort. The materials might have shifted slightly. The colors may be slightly different, but yes, as Felix described, a tall man with the interplay of dark hair with I'd say very well accentuated bits of like white and gray in there, giving him the Pike aesthetic, both for his like the hair over the top of his and side of his head, as well as the beard that he wears.
He definitely uses hair products as the only person on Starship, apparently.
He's Pike before Pike.
Yes.
Okay.
Mold him after my own image.
Lieutenant Commander, this is Commander Marcus Horn from the United Diplomatic Service. Mr. Horn, this is Aleska Romanov, Lieutenant Commander, and the head of my engineering department.
He just strides over to you and extends a hand. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. She'll shake your hand.
So, given that you're my third in command, Miss Romanov, I thought you would like to be part of this interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a seat. Your water, sir.
Thank you.
She'll sit down next to Shira.
So, what do you want to hear first?
Whatever you feel is best to start with. Give me the good news. Why not?
Are there any? He's definitely smiling. Well, we are finding us in a very interesting situation, as you are probably more aware than most other captains out there, even though you have been very busy with your briefings. The entire region of
tired at the mention of briefings.
The entire area of space is scrambling to adjust to a new power structure, and everyone is worried because no one knows what this power structure will look like. Vulcans as well as Andorians have taken quite a beating. I don't think I'm surprising anyone by saying that. And even though peace efforts are successful so far, the process is not finished. The Tellarites are also worried what's going to happen next, whoever's going to emerge out of this conflict. They are worried about Earth's role in all of this, and their future in all of this. Earth is worried. And he's looking like a bit like, how do you phrase it about our role in it? To be frank, it's a lot to wrap your head around. And also where to go from here. We've seen, quite frankly, interstellar war now, and we'd rather not be involved in anyone anytime soon. So we want to stabilize the region, but no one knows how, and everyone is looking out for their own safety first. So that's where we are.
It's about right. I'll look over. The drinks are out, right? Do I see the captain? The captain's got a drink in front of her.
She has, since she's been since the water is sort of a reminder that she's on duty. There's just a glass of water.
Oh crap! Then I'll
She's not.
pour
No one's happy about that.
I'll pour a sad glass of water and follow along.
I just imagine there like actual drinks standing somewhere, and everyone's looking longingly at it. God damn it!
There's the entire mini bar, and then there's the open bottle of mineral water there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Exactly.
Her more public stash is probably available in the conference room.
Fantastic. Yeah, and we are. I think the only ship that's more in the middle of all of this is the Enterprise. It rightfully is. Archer is doing his very best to, contain the situation, pacify everyone, bring people together. But well, he's only one man on one ship, and quite frankly, I don't think he should have all the glory in this. He's definitely like giving like it's a surprisingly boyish grin on a man of his age.
Yeah. She just gives like a tempered smile at that. Well, he certainly saved the galaxy once before. I'm sure a second time wouldn't be that big of a deal for him.
Well, we can hope and still try to do our best to do it ourselves. So,
Absolutely.
backup plans. I like backup plans.
As do I. What's your role in all of this? I am sure there's a number of diplomats already on the NX-01.
Well, I'm supposed to take in what our Tellarite friends have to tell us, and maybe poke them a bit more about what they want out of all of this, where they see this all going. Everyone is looking primarily at the Andorians and the Vulcans as the main victims of this conflict. And both in the weakest position at the moment. And while the Tellarites are not pacifists, they're also not warmongers. So, yeah, we're not sure what they want, and I'm not sure they are sure what they want. I think what we all want is more stability in the region. So, hopefully, I can prod and probe them a bit, see what they want. Maybe we can get some agreement from multiple sides. Non-aggression pacts, that sort of thing.
Always a nice start, though. If you want me asking, whatever happened to Chancellor Vloss? Administrator Vloss? Out of character, was it Administrator or a Chancellor?
It was Administrator.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Administrator Vloss? We did throw him onto the Enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, that's Felix asking. He's still on the Enterprise, trying to negotiate his way back, or has he exiled himself, or what's happening with him?
I would expect that Enterprise maybe got him to a transport vessel bound back for Earth somewhere. What he's been trying to do since then, maybe I don't think he's entirely off the radar. He's definitely, let's just say for now, he is holed up on the Vulcan embassy and has declared it the site of the sole legitimate Vulcan government.
Grasping
yes.
at straws.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would relay. And yeah, he is trying to hold onto power, but quite frankly, I see his chances as practically non-existent.
Shira will smirk.
The change of Vulcan leadership has been pretty well solidified at this point.
Good. I think the Vulcans need as much fresh air as anybody else, especially with everything that's been done. She'll look to the rest of her officers. Is there any questions you have for Commander Horn?
Not really. Do you have any questions about the engineering of the Aegis, or?
Not at this point, no. But I am very curious to hear everything that's happened from your points of view. Doesn't have to be now, but I mean, it is quite the interesting story, isn't it?
It is that. She gives you almost a little bit of a Vulcan look, with her response.
Tries to raise the one eyebrow.
Yeah, she's picked it up. I mean, I went to a whole,
How can you not?
How can you not? But this guy's very observant with that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah. Sharp sort of lightly swirls her water. As she just says calmly, I've been informed that he has full clearance, so anything you say is perfectly fine. She says to her officers.
It would seem like discussions like that would be maybe something for a second meeting. There's so much to unpack there, right?
Certainly there's a lot. I'm sure Starfleet Command has given you all the logs that were appropriate.
Oh yes, I've spent the entire journey reading, and I'm still not done, to be perfectly.
We've certainly been caught in the middle of this conflict and disorder for quite a bit, despite our mission parameters.
Yes. Seems that especially you, Captain, have a tendency to be caught in the middle of things.
Not by my preference, if it means anything, she says with a tight smile.
Oh yeah, God, he's gonna say that's what he's just gonna like take a sip and just like that's what they always say.
Kieran, is there anything you need to wish to ask our current diplomat?
I think so. The XO usually is the one that takes care of like the guest quarters and stuff. So he would ask, or say that we've arranged quarters with a view for you, as with any other diplomatic guest. Is there anything specific that we can do to make your journey more comfortable? Is there anything that you require of us?
A bed and a shower. That's all I need.
He smiles because he knows that this person might not be used to a sonic shower, and says, "It might take some getting used to. It's not quite like the showers you used to back on Earth."
I'm sure I'll manage.
Her eyes flick over to Shira. Waits a beat to see if Shira, basically gets the silent question, but then just says,
Any security concerns you want to raise, Lieutenant Shira?
Yeah. Any concerns you have, Lieutenant?
No, sir.
All right. Well, see, things been running smoothly so far. Let's hope that it continues on the way there. Patel, if you can see too that after I'm done talking with Mr. Horn a bit more privately, that you take him to his assigned quarters.
Of course. And he just nods.
Miss Romanov, Miss Shura, you may return to your stations.
Thank you.
And
Sir.
Romanov, if you can tell Conley to bring us up to 3.5.
Yeah, I'll get his station on the way out. Thanks. Great meeting you.
Likewise.
Joe will give him a nod.
Yeah. Patel, if you can take the con for the moment.
Aye, sir.
I'll hit Conley on my way out and pass the message. And then take the turbo lift down to engineering.
It'd
Okay,
actually make more sense for Patel, I guess, to give that order since.
Yeah,
Patel's
I forgot Patel was still there. My apologies. And I was like, oh yeah.
Forgot that
Yeah.
Patel is
Yeah.
No!
Parachute
Oh,
pass.
poor Patel.
Look,
He
you're
just-
my
he just
shadow,
goes,
buddy. You're my shadow. Like,
Aw.
I want to keep
gosh.
you around as often as possible. This is a
Wow.
rare time where it's a captain's own, commanding officer only.
Oh, okay. This is the first time he had a deadly wound in this encounter, I think. But Ken Patel soak it.
He just
Yeah.
stands up and looks down at his feet as he sort of shuffles on out.
Oh, no!
The,
He
the,
had
ch-
so much confidence.
the Charlie
Oh, God,
Brown
no.
theme playing. The sad one that is.
All right.
Oh, God.
She'll wait a beat after the door closes and looks over.
I kind of imagine this moment. It's almost like there's a chessboard between them. Both are just looking at each other.
Yeah.
And then he's reaching into his pack and pulls out a data pad and slides it over. And I've been asked to bring some personal messages. Best regards from the wife and your stepfather.
She'll
Not
just
stepfather. Father-in-law.
father-in-law.
Yeah.
She'll just nod. Was that the eyes only access thing or something else? Is that
That's the eyes on your eyes only.
okay?
He might be taking the piss a little.
Yeah. She'll say if you can wait a moment. Feel free at the bar.
Oh, is the official part over? And he kind of just walks over to the bar.
It's a dataless class outside of things firing at us or other aliens about. I can be a little more relaxed for the more higher ups, especially for civilians. She says.
Oh, that's language I can understand. And he's gonna make one of the drinks, and he probably takes the one that seems to be used the most and makes one of those for the captain, and just puts the glass in front of her as he returns to his seat.
Yeah. She'll just read as I'm rereading this thing. Give me a moment.
No one told me I had to read. There's just a clock on the wall just ticking.
And the.
She just sighs, kind of that. She'll accept it, but she doesn't necessarily like it, enjoy it all too much. It's clicking off the pad. All right. So what can you tell me?
Well, I was informed by your father-in-law that you requested some more support, and unfortunately, I was the only one available.
I was hoping for my wife to come along, but
Well,
I hope you don't feel a little too
Oh no,
discouraged, but you're not my type.
I've been quite taken by your wife. So I imagine it would be all too distracting if she was.
Obviously, you've never talked to my wife for too long. She says she's a bit of a business sort than anything else. Even if I would like it to have more attention, she says, kind of like, sort of like that loving sort of eye roll.
He's wearing a ring, by the way.
Yeah, she has a ring as well.
We're both married to your wife. Wait, what?
Oh, that could be quickly fixed.
Hey, you have 2 wives, and your wife can't have 2 partners? What's this?
But this is anything you can slide in my direction of your further objectives, or anything you would like for a bit more assistance.
Do I know what was in the communique? Or is
Basically-
that
Basically,
more
it
shenanigans?
encapsulated your directives and a little bit to establish just circumstances as to
Yeah.
why they thought you should be here. There may have been a little personal touch from Mitchell, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
Well, there's not much to it, to be perfectly honest. So,
Yep.
It's mostly what I said, just more poking and prodding. It's the Tellarites are one of the foremost powers in the area. So if they want to go somewhere, it could be hard to stop them. So we'd rather we either can somehow direct where they're going, or maybe convince them to walk our direction. The Vulcans and Andorians are out of the picture at the moment, just military-wise. So, Tellarites it is. And I'm hoping to get some better picture what they want, what's beneath their official agenda.
Has there been any more credibility to my suspicions? Or were you informed as such?
Which ones? Have I?
That there is something, there's movers and shakers further beyond than what we're aware of.
You mean behind all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good question. Nothing but suspicions. But if there's ever a time for anything to come out, it's now. This whole thing, and he's kind of making the hand gestures like this circle, just like this whole thing, like everybody talking to each other, trying to figure out what's happening next. This is espionage. Hotbed. This is we've had more contacts in the last 2 weeks than we had in the last 5 years prior. But everyone is calling in every favor they can. So if someone is pulling some strings, then we should be able to catch some of them and follow them back where they lead.
I was hoping, given the fact that, with the assistance of Soral, that Veloz being on the Enterprise might give an opportunity. I had some mild, and I'm sure the intelligence well had some interesting suspicions regarding Veloz, but if he's on Earth, then that can be dealt with.
Well, Archer wasn't too happy about the whole situation, as you can imagine. I'm not privy to the details, but everything happened rather quickly, more quickly than we would have liked.
Mm.
And if someone is influencing or has influenced us, then he has made a good job so far of convincing me that it was his own idea.
Great. She just looks a little exhausted.
Yeah, that's a mess. The word you're looking for is mess, Captain.
I'm very well aware, she says with a tight smile. Tired smile. This is I'm sure you've done a lot of things in the background, but I've been in the muck for quite a while.
I know. I said what I said.
All right.
Well, and aside from Enterprise, this is apparently the place to be. The section chief has great hopes and great worries.
As he typically does. Hopefully this time doesn't throw me some other... It's been a while since he threw me in some sort of mission that I'd rather jump out of the airlock for.
Well, from what I understood correctly, he wants to throw you into more missions, but it seems like you find yourself into more complicated stuff too quickly for him to send you somewhere.
She just like gives like a displeased like, great. All right. If you need anything, let me know.
Of course,
Patel.
and I'm sure that I'm pretty sure that's in the communique, but I am. What is he said? Under your command, as you see fit, whatever that means for you. So
It's appreciated, and
he just
certainly if
spreads his arms. I am yours, Captain.
It's certainly appreciated. If there's anything I need, I'll certainly inform you. If you don't mind, I'll inform Mr. Patel, as he's already well informed of my connections to some extent. And he should probably learn to compartmentalize.
Your ship, your call.
She nods. She just gestures with a hand to the door. Like, you can go.
He leaves.
She'll just stir her drink, take a long swig, and just take a slow, long breath. That's it.
All right. As we leave you in the conference room alone to finish your drink and to ponder the immediate circumstances, I'm actually going to ask, would people like to take maybe a 5-minute bio break? We can have a quick intermission if people are interested.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that works great for me.
Yep. For those not going anywhere, or at least within earshot, well, I can continue to exchange a little bit of words here, but for the moment, we will go into just a brief little intermission here. So yeah, we are just going to pick up with a scene over in the Aegis's officers' mess, which, yeah, it'll be a few hours will have passed since Aegis had rendezvoused with the Niagara and picked up its new official from the diplomatic corps, so far as most of you know. Those of you that can see a certain handout now will know more, which now includes you, Drone.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. But yes, let's see. It's otherwise
There's a handout for everybody?
Not for everybody.
Okay. Let me know if you need me to look at it.
Well, Romanov has more pressing concerns in mind, keeping the ship running and also tending to maintenance of friendly relationships. In this particular case, that of a dear friend that you've acquired in these voyages and someone who has seemed just a little out of sorts. So, as the day wears on, you find an opportunity to stop in a relatively quiet hour for the officers' mess and find Lieutenant Shira.
What does Chef have up as the special of the day? That is the most important question.
That's a good question. Hey, Panda, what's Alonso cooking up today?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Vulcan spice soup.
It is going to be a mixture of a dish between an Andorian roast from that actually is one of the pheasants or whatever poultry that few Andorians have for food.
Ice chickens.
Yeah, ice turkey or something like that. It is honeyed, freaking it's kind of like nicely lightly caramelized, and absolutely freshly sliced. To further that, though, is a Vulcan soup on the side with a few vegetables steamed and properly cut of Tellarite vegetables.
And just because Overland Gamer said it, I will half seriously say the actual complication is that it is all garnished with pickled gach.
Sure.
No, it doesn't have to be.
He's going for fusion. He's going for a fusion dish. And he makes it good because he's so good.
Fusion. I think this is more fission,
Yes.
giving off some horrible radiation and after effects.
You know, she tends to like pretty much everything that the Orion has cooked up. She's like, she's like one of his biggest fans for his, like, you know, she tends, you know, 8 out of 10 times she reaches for whatever the special of the day is. And Andorian chicken plus Vulcan soup. That's fine.
Shira will be taking the little bottle of
Tellarite
Tabasco.
vegetables too.
Shira's going to be taking the little bottle of Tabasco sauce that's on the table and just be shaking that into the soup. And then grabs the pepper pot and starts emptying that into the soup.
I imagine that there is a knife slowly being drawn by Alonso in the kitchen as he notices this, but then the other cook just gently pulls away the knife.
Romanov looks nervously over her shoulder towards the kitchen because she knows how Alonso feels. Don't change his beautiful, you know, special plates.
It just needs a little bit more of a kick.
That's fine.
Yeah, just
She'll adjust her chair so that Alonso can see what's happening to the food. But Alonso knows pretty much Alaska always takes the food pretty much as he presents it and generally likes it.
Yeah, like he should.
Yeah. So,
High quality work here.
Humans seem to like things rather mild.
No. We'll get, next time when we're on Earth, we'll hit some Thai food and some Indian food. We'll blow you away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know where to take you. I love those places. I like hot food, too.
Oh, good.
I like hot food. I like mild food. Vulcan soup has a subtlety to it.
With the amount of Tabasco sauce I've just added to it, it's not going to be very subtle anymore.
You do your Vulcan soup your way.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, I guess. No, not really. No, I can't lie. No.
It was a ride, that's for sure, especially for you.
Yeah, I mean it's good that
But you
peace
ought to be in a...
negotiations are ongoing, and it seems like hopefully there's going to be some kind of permanent deal out of this.
I'm sure hoping. I could see where your concern is that it could fall back into war, right?
Honestly, okay, perhaps this is going to sound a bit selfish. Honestly, no, it's the The general who gave me this lovely assignment as liaison officer to Starfleet. The last time I spoke with him, he did implied no. He said once the war is done, he's coming to ruin my career. So, war looks like it's about to end, and yeah.
If well, he may try, and he may even push on that for a bit. But here's where he's going to have trouble. If there is a lasting peace, and
Yes.
the High Command wants that, the Andorian High Command wants that,
Yeah.
then they're going to have to change their tune. And suddenly, he may find himself in a position where you are a great asset because you have been working within Starfleet, and that shows cooperation before any of this happened.
That might be the case if there's some admirals and staff there who have actually taken notice of anything I've been doing here.
Well, and this may be something that Starfleet could pressure, this guy on. We've got, our new diplomatic buddy. Maybe he has routes he can place pressure on this guy because, look, if the Andorians are going to really promulgate a relationship with, Earth, they're going to have to, they're going to have to continue pushing that relationship in a positive direction. Disciplining you doesn't help that. Starfleet has an excellent impression of you.
I think the Imperial Guard and Andoria itself is going to take. They'll take more of an interest in Earth and start taking humans more seriously. So they'll probably want someone who isn't a lieutenant and who's much higher ranked to start being the liaison officer. And I've also done things which for an Imperial Guard might think it have been somewhat against the Imperial Guard. And so I might have stuff which needs to be answered for.
You might, but I think ultimately you'll walk away from that. Look, you might be headed for, the sailing term, some choppy waters on this, but I think ultimately you're going to be viewed positively.
I wish I had your confidence.
Especially if we just lean a little diplomatic, pressure on that. Horn? What's his name? Horn?
Yeah, Horn.
I can probably help you with it. He sounds like he's really good at that kind of stuff.
I don't know.
But either way, just relax. You're surrounded by friends. We don't have to shoot anybody right now. That's always good news.
That is a bonus, yeah.
And this is Andorian chicken. I've never had Andorian chicken before.
It is very good, yes. Quite a nice.
I like it. It's
meat.
spicy. It's spicy.
Mm.
I see why Chef did the very light Vulcan soup with the spicy chicken. It was an
And-
interesting move on his part.
Yes. So I suppose.
Well, just hang in there. Try not to let it get to you too much. You know.
Yeah.
I was in much the same situation, except I was paralyzed, and I couldn't talk beyond that of a 1-year-old or 2-year-old for 6 months.
Yeah, your situation's definitely a bit worse than mine. I'll agree to that. Yeah.
And I had, officers trying to interrogate me and hold me accountable when all I could do was drool. And then the interrogation while only being able to drool, or any kind of military inquiry when all you can do is drool is no fun.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. Miss Romanoff, we believe you intentionally manipulated the alien artifact. Do you have a response to this? Yeah, that's what it's
okay.
like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty. That's terrible. Yeah.
So anything the skipper does is a walk in the park.
Suppose so.
She did put the gawk, though, to the side of the dish, and she does eat that separately. The gawk garnishment.
Yeah, I have to imagine that there's at least some disquiet in the coming from the kitchen.
No, he can't see me, remember? I moved myself, so all he sees is my back, and I'm one of his biggest fans. He knows it.
It's more from the other chefs realizing, wait, is that stuff alive? But
and she'll eat the gawk last, because she's probably, Alpha Centauri has probably seen gawk dishes.
I would actually doubt that.
Yeah, you're right. I've only seen it working for Starfleet.
Yeah.
It's too close to Earth.
As to the answer, Alonso says, why wouldn't it be?
You know what? I don't fancy eating moving things, so let's
she looks at Shira and goes, they squiggle on the way down. You gotta try it.
No.
Grabs the gawk and puts it in her mouth, and you see it squirming.
You're braver than I am.
I was on baby food for 6 months. My ability to appreciate wider varieties of cuisine have
but human baby food must be better than these worm things.
No, see, I did more time with baby food than most people have, so no, the love was lost, and I now embrace a wide variety of cuisines.
Okay.
Well, anything more to that, or shall we just cut the scene with Shira having beginning to lose her appetite?
Yeah, Shira's just passing across the rest of the gawk onto Alaska's plate.
I surely eat it.
Yep. And so with the slightly light tones, shifting into something more broadly, let's say, I don't know, something hopeful or at least slightly dramatic, as we would cut to Shira emptying her plate to the Aegis passing by, space still at warp, the stars streaking ahead, and moving up to the bridge. At present, with Sharp sorting out the recent arrival, other senior staff off duty at the moment, presently, the Khan resides with you, Patel. You are overseeing some of the junior officers at work on bridge stations, and are preparing to notify the captain of what will be an auspicious opportunity, the ability to meet the first of the NX-class vessels that was launched, and easily one of the most famous crews in Starfleet. Though your own reputation may be starting to give you at least similar notoriety.
I got a question. Am I still being
has-
pelted with interviews on occasion?
At
Or
least
that stopped?
not during this time right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Drone.
I was just going to say Patel still has stress nightmares of being in the bar in San Francisco with people recognizing my uniform.
Yep.
That one episode.
Yep. Way back in episode, I believe it was 7. Or it might have been further along.
That was 7. I do believe it was 7.
Yes, Earthbound, when you were the one person from the Aegis who had not changed into civilian garb, and everybody saw that mission patch of the stars, the shield, and the Daedalus-class vessel soaring along the side of it, with the Latin motto bearing translating to the phrase, the shield of the fleet. Today, at least your duty seems a little bit simpler, for rather than any defensive role, you are primarily still on the, essentially the milk run sort of thing, or rather the transportation element of an important official from what you've gathered. By this point, you would have also been able to read up on the information that Sharp had shared with you, so you know a little more about your passenger. While all this is going on, I will ask, is there anything in particular you would want to tend to while you're on the bridge? Any interaction you'd want amongst the staff there?
No, I think he's just watching the view screen, and like before, where he would have been just sort of like nervously tapping away at the armrest or whatever. He's feeling a little bit more comfortable just sitting here at the con, pretty much.
Okay.
Maybe reading a pad idly with sensor reports or whatever, but.
Yep. You're momentarily interrupted from that when you hear a talk between the navigator and Connolly. The ensign is checking his navigational sensors, and then he turns to you. Sir, we're not really that ahead of schedule, but there's a slight bit of an issue.
I look down from my pad. What's going on, Mr. Conley?
Enterprise doesn't seem to have made the rendezvous coordinates yet.
Are they on long-range sensors?
The
Miss Stewart?
I can take over for her. She'll look into the.
Oh no, sorry.
Yep.
My bad. What was the question?
She was Commander Patel was asking if the Enterprise is showing up on your long-range sensors.
All right, is it?
Go ahead and give me a Reason plus Science roll, please. Difficulty of 1.
Stellar atmospheric science.
Not quite in this case, no.
All right, just roll one for the roll.
Okay. You may also roll the ship's Reason plus, or rather, Sensors plus Science for an assist, if you would so like.
Yes. We just sensors, science. No.
Okay. Well, no help from the ship. But yes, Steward, you look into the viewfinder and run the necessary long-range sensor scans. I will say, when you relay the update, you may also switch to a fancy view screen that has been made expressly for this.
Enterprise is showing up on sensors, sir. They are at the rendezvous coordinates where they are expected to meet the Tellarites.
Okay, now I as the player am confused.
They didn't arrive to our rendezvous. They rendezvoused in the primary rather than our meetup. So they went ahead of schedule or something.
Yeah. So to clarify on the sequence of events here, the NXL-1 is presently set to rendezvous with the Tellarites first. They are picking up an
Okay.
Ambassador Grawl. En route to Babel, they were going to set a course and meet you along that way so that you could transfer Commander Horn.
Got it. So they're delayed at their first stop, basically.
Yep. Connolly can actually... here, I'll put this up here. Yeah, sir. Let me get this up on our stellar cartography here, Exo. Let me see. Sorry, these. I feel like I need to optimize these controls a little bit more. All right. Let's see here. So, our current position is right about here, sir. Now, we're going to meet up with the Enterprise, presently located in this section here. And I need to zoom out so that everybody can get a closer look. Or that is to say, the stream has the look too. Now, if they were going to plan, then they would already actually be on their way to our location. Their current course would have had them taking... there's a bit of this that isn't displaying for some reason. Well, I'm sorry, sir. Apparently some gap in my telemetry here. But hey, no, the GM's going to fix this. The GM is going to fix this. The GM is going to be mildly irritated with the map malfunctioning, but you know, sometimes that is just the technical hiccups we have to...
It's fine. It's a Daedalus class. It has its quirks.
Yep. There we go. That'll have to be close enough for now. The Enterprise was taking this course to transit the local area of space and move en route to the Babel system. But it seems as though they are still waiting at the main rendezvous coordinates for where the Tellarites were. We were originally set to rendezvous in not this area here, sir. I'll put that up.
It's a trap. Fire at the Enterprise.
So we were going to rendezvous in this zone here, sir.
Is the Enterprise alone right now? Is there any sign of a Tellarite ship?
Steward, you recheck the viewfinder.
Negative, sir. The only signal I have is the NX-01.
Well, at least the only one out that way. My navigational readings are showing at least the other ships we have deployed in the area. Conley will quickly update the track. As all of you would know, there are a few Starfleet vessels out on patrol in this region of space. Ships that had been directed relatively recently to this section in order to help basically oversee the patrol. Obviously, these are all, it's a mixture of, there's the one scout which is presently at the edge of the little sensor sliver you have here, the Niagara. They are on their way out of this section of space. The other ships tend to be mostly slower vessels, like the Ganges or Intrepid class vessels.
Patel turns over to the comm console. Mr. Crichton, are we within hailing range of the Enterprise?
I will attempt, sir. Starship Aegis to Starship Enterprise. This is Aegis calling. Please acknowledge. They're coming through now, sir. Yes, this is Starship Aegis requesting status update. He furrows his brow as he listens in. Sirs, Enterprise is reporting that the Tellarite ships have not rendezvoused with them, and they are not picking them up on their sensors anywhere either. No signs of active warp signatures, subspace fields. They're somewhat very puzzled. They've been trying to run long-range sensor scans of their own for some time now. Yes, sir. We'll relay. Enterprise is asking if we are in range to see if we can conduct a more intensive scan. See about locating any signs of the Tellarite vessels. Maybe make sure that they are in fact on course.
Patel suppresses the urge to smile at the newest and most state-of-the-art ship asking us for help. A lowly dataless class with our out-of-date sensors. Signal back to Enterprise that we're more than happy to assist.
Hey, sir.
Are they sending through like a search pattern or anything that they want us to conduct?
Yes, sir. They are presently concentrating long-range sensor scans in the general direction towards Tellar Prime. So, relative to what you're seeing, it would be they are scanning in this general direction. So concentrating their sensors effectively due west, as it were.
Okay, so it looks like Patel stares at the map on the view screen for a moment and says, "Do we know what the Intrepid's doing out here? Can we maybe coordinate with them, have them perform some scans sort of galactic east so that we at least cover that angle of things and we can handle this area in the middle?"
I'll relay word to Intrepid, and hell, I'll even send a message to Niagara, sir.
Enlist the Nile if you feel like you can get a hold of them at this range.
Yeah. It might take a few moments with subspace delay, Commander, but I will get word out to all ships in the search pattern. Alright. Meanwhile, Patel, do you want to throw in the Aegis's delicate sensor suite here?
Absolutely. If I can direct that because I have sensor shenanigans in my character sheet.
You certainly may.
Yeah.
You can either make this a direct task as the commanding officer on the scene at the moment, or if you feel the need to step into the console, then you have that option too. Either way, you will get the, your sensor-related focuses will definitely come into play.
Okay. Yeah, I think it makes more sense if I direct, even though my stats for doing it myself are way better.
I mean, you can call the captain too, and because this is a interesting a concern of what's going on. Up to you.
I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, Sharp won't show up right away, so this is still...
Okay, yeah, I mean, and I think if the Tellarites aren't here, based on what I know about Commander Horn too, like he would definitely want to be aware of that too. So I think I would signal both of them to come to the bridge at their leisure. Not at their leisure, but not like, immediately.
Yeah, just
Right.
Colonel Sharp, Mr. Horn, come to the please report to the bridge, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So in the meantime, you may undertake a roll here. I am going to say this next one. Sorry, damn. I just noticed the patch in Discord, and I love it. That is spectacular there.
Thank you.
Things to get to later. Anyway, yeah, sorry, awestruck. So this roll to start with would have been a reason plus science roll with a difficulty of 3, assisted by the ship's sensors and science. However, there are 2 things coming into play here. First, going off the backlogged Quatlu spends we had from earlier, I am decreasing the difficulty on this roll by 2, or rather by 1 for the difficulty decrease, and then the advanced sensor suites come into play, so you actually have it so fine-tuned that the difficulty on this task is reduced to 1. Also, it occurs to me after Steward's successful roll from earlier, this would be you would have 1 momentum on the table. So let's see.
Neat. Who's a primary roller for this? Patel or myself?
Yeah, I think if I'm in the center seat, I think I would direct her to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll double check the specific nature of the order, the direct roll in this case, because if that involves, let's see, direct, clear, concise orders.
You did say I could use my technical expertise regardless of what I do.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you would be assisting Drone with that role, and
Okay.
let's see, Steward would be taking primary role. So primary would be reason and science. Drone, you may assist with your since it's clear and concise orders, let's call this I actually think that control plus command might make more sense. I'd be receptive to presence, but by the same token, I think that this is more kind of... the academic is blending with the officer role that you're becoming more acquainted with.
I'm going to use the momentum for cautious science. That's fine with people.
Okay.
So that brings up 3, and let's go. Yes.
I'll get the ship. Ship is sensors science, I guess.
Correct. Oh, so that is
Ooh.
4 successes plus a.
But I'm gonna re-roll that with technical expertise. Since
That
you said
will
I
work.
could.
Yep.
Okay. Phew.
So that is
reject.
just 4 successes. You will get 3 points of momentum off of that roll. Also, I will remind you that as it's like, should a situation come up, you do have a free advantage available for use.
Nice. We'll be sure to use that before session end.
Yep. So, it takes... you begin running an exhaustive, high-powered sensor scan. The Aegis's delicate sensor instruments, long intended to help its pathfinding mission, set to the task of trying to locate these missing Tellarite ships. And coordinating with the other ships in the area, you manage to coordinate and develop something of a decent sensor net. It's not complete by any stretch. The ships are a little too spread out. There are too few of you to be able to completely do something like this. But I will give you the following, steward.
Sir, I'm getting low level power signatures and metallic readings about 1.8 light years away from our position. They do have a similar mass equal to a Tellarite cruiser.
Correction on that, 3 cruisers.
Matching the mass of at least 3 cruisers, sir.
Do the power signatures indicate that they're active? Or are they just sitting out there waiting?
I will say you wouldn't associate these normally with an active starship.
She shakes her head. They're too dispersed, sir. If anything, it's almost as larger than background radiation. If you catch my drift, sir.
He just a pale look comes over his face. Mr. Crichton, relay this information to Enterprise. Bring us to Yellow Alert and inform the captain and Commander Horn that they might want to get up on the double.
Hey, sure. As he says this, he'll press the button on the intercom, and in the background you'll have the bring ship up to condition yellow. All current shift. Prepare for action stations. At this point, I think that shortly after all of this, Sharp and Horn would both make it to the bridge. Perhaps their urgency sped up by the sudden call to an alert status.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Well, I think at that time, but at that point too, I would have probably had Connolly already lay in a course, but not engage yet.
All right, we can shift things over to the back to the bridge for a moment. Let's see here. Yep, we are back on the bridge now. As you clear the station, as Sharp and Horn come through the turbolift. Let's see. So. Sharp is the first enter.
Yeah, she'll just immediately walk to her chair, which I'm sure Patel immediately gets off of.
Yep.
And Stewart moves off to go back to her normal station stuff.
Yep.
Don't you just sit down because you don't know he exists?
She'll say report and get the briefing, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat everything.
Yeah. Yep. She'll just nod and say, Crichton, if you can bring us the condition, right?
Hey, sir. Action stations. All personnel, man your action stations. Set condition red throughout the ship.
She'll eye the console on her chair. What is the date, Zach?
It is still November 14th, 2154 on your chronometer.
How close are we? to a certain incident.
Stand by.
She'll just eye the console for a brief, long moment, and then say, inform the Enterprise that we have encountered similar tactics before related to the Kazinti and other threats, that they should in kind bring themselves to Condition Red as well.
At this point, I think Marcus would also be on the bridge. And
Yeah, if I get on the bridge and everything is in alarm state, I would look for a place to stay out of the way.
we'll put you by the MSD then. Also, we'll bring Shira on the bridge as well.
Do you want me on the bridge, or do you want me in engineering?
Be up on the bridge.
Okay, then
Alright.
I would have been up on the bridge.
Romanov and Shira will enter the bridge at the same time. I'll let you...
Excuse me, Edson.
I'll head over to the engineering station, nod at everybody on the bridge.
Sir, I have course plotted and laid in. If engineering's clear to give me maximum warp, I can have us there. I can guess in at least pretty close relatively shortly, I think.
She'll look to Crichton to see if the message was sent to the Enterprise to also go on red alert, and that this might be a trap.
I've relayed the message to Archer. They and Enterprise. They acknowledge and have advised us to dispatch those messages further down the chain of ships in the area.
So.
I've already routed it to Intrepid, and they will boost it on to Nile, and so on and so forth.
Crichton, I need you to keep these signals with verification and changing security protocols as often as you can, as manageably as possible.
Hey, sir. I'll start coordinating with the communications officers on Enterprise and Intrepid.
Make sure you verify any reception before sending a signal.
Hey, sir. So, Crichton is going to immediately start to work there.
Conley, I guess we're going to be the mine canaries. Punch it. Let's go.
All right. Let's see. Conley says, warp speed ready at your command, and that would be that'd be the question. How fast do you want to go?
Maximum warp.
Okay, warp 4.5. I will have Conley roll for this here, so that should be control plus con, just a difficulty 1 roll just to go to warp. And it does expend 4 points of power, but because you have the upgraded warp core, or the talent with the warp systems, I believe it can roll an effect die for each point of power that's expended, a challenge die rather, and for every effect that you get on that roll, that should allow you to keep that point of power, essentially.
Nice. Romanov, if you would like to roll those dice since you're an engineer, my friend.
Yeah.
4 challenge die.
4 challenge dice off of the ship, or just off of? Okay, got it. 4 challenge dice. Roll it now. Challenge dice 4.
Oh,
You gotta re-roll that.
yeah,
Like,
the ship wasn't.
Oh, the ship off of the ship. Okay,
No, no.
I
Well, I
rolled-
mean, basically, the sheets are still just that slight bit buggy to where sometimes they need the.
I'm rolling it on the ship sheet now. I changed it to 4 on the sheet. There we go.
Okay. Well, that
still only 2 showed up, so roll another 2. Someone's calling.
Yeah, let me take this real quick. You
Yeah,
got the roll.
I'll take care of. I'll do it with Conley here. So, let's see.
Hey.
That'll be
Oh,
an effect.
maybe.
So, you do get some of it back here. His main roll on this, that will be 1 success. So, no momentum off of that, and the Aegis will lose 3 points of power from its current maximum.
Oof.
So that last message, Zach, from 1 to 10, how bad?
I'd give it a solid 4.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Aegis fires up its warp engines as the deck plating begins to rattle a little bit, and the stars streak faster and faster by as you proceed on course towards the last site where you detected those low power emissions. Racing at about warp 4.5, or approaching that, maybe not pulling all the way up to that warp factor. Connolly is doing the communication stable. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the captain sort of like squints her eyes a little bit and just rubs her temple and says, Mr. Horn, can I make a right assumption that you've taken a bit of research of the area in particular for this meeting?
You mean space around the area?
Yes. Events and so on.
Taking a cursory look.
Has there been any odd interactions, unknown piracy or reavings or any other sorts, odd movements?
I'll have to pass that question on to the material that I've read. Like, I would suppose that the area has been chosen because there's not been much going on here, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I will essentially give that to you. Yeah, I'll give that to you there, Saral. Or Marcus. Basically,
It's fine. All struggling.
Basically, we're dealing with core Earth space, or space within patrol range. So, there has not been much in the way of significant activity here. Any raiding seems to be, or like raiding or piracy has been steadily declining in the area, in part, Earth has been stepping up some of its patrols. Mako with their ships a little more active when they don't anything that isn't in formation, strictly speaking, is starting to go out into the space lanes. A few Starfleet ships, mostly a couple of the Daedalus class vessels that are already launched. They are out. Some of the slow ships too are escorting them. It's a very thin spread, but there's just not nearly as much activity here. The war did put a little bit of a damper on raiding activity this far galactic north too. I think,
that's what I would relay. Like, there isn't any particular presence here. If there anything changed because of the recent conflict, nothing has made its way to Earth yet.
No odd accusations or ship disappearances of note that you're familiar with?
Not to my knowledge.
Hmm.
Yeah. As well, let's see. Any other conversations that you guys would like amongst yourselves before we get you there?
Is 3 Tellarite cruisers their usual operating capacity?
As far as you understand it, I think that with what little signal intelligence Starfleet might have developed at that time, that any Earth service really has, it suggests that sometimes they will. It's more something that they have been doing in space that they are less certain of. With a party they considered more neutral, it is possible that they would have just sent a single cruiser out in order to meet you. However, relations between Earth and Tellar Prime have been a little bit strained. The first major contact that they had was during the Alpha Centauri incident, which you would have been well up to speed on, essentially, at that time when the Tellarite, when a rogue Tellarite admiral had backed the independence of the Alpha Centauri colony, and it had resulted in an armed standoff with the very ship that you are presently on.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah. It also goes without saying that they're used to a few larger scale fleet movements.
Yeah, but 3 is within expectations, so that in itself is not unusual.
Yeah.
Also, I would probably also throw in that if they've taken out 3 cruisers, that's more than raiding. That's a significant force. Would that be correct?
That would be fair enough if someone had done that.
Yeah, it's like any raiding force that could possibly even be active in this area would not even get close to 3 Tellarite cruisers.
Agreed. I'm just hoping, or not hoping, I am curious if there was any prior behavior that we weren't aware of before, or it turned a blind eye to due to other important matters.
Certainly not of that size.
And Kamala says, Sir, I'm coming up on the coordinates now.
Bring us to 100,000 kilometers and get us out of warp.
Okay.
Slow and steady. Patel, as many scans as you can make, I want you to verify and double verify the profile, power signatures, anything you can of any ship that approaches us, including our own.
The Aegis drops out of warp, out in open space, some 100,000 kilometers away in the distance. There are indeed objects that appear on sensors. If you would like a more active scan, then you may do so at your leisure. Okay, that is reason and science. I think going back down the list here, there would have been an increased difficulty from one of the spends there, from the Overland Gamer. However, the sensor task would have, or rather the advanced sensor suites would have done more than plenty to bring that back down. And yeah, with technical expertise there, did let you re-roll the ship, but sadly neither works to your advantage.
What does getting advantage do exactly to things?
Well, so allow me to clarify. The just in terms of what I was saying with it not working to his advantage, it's more that it didn't specifically help him then. But in terms of the narrative advantages, that like the one that the one
that was given to us.
Yes, the one that the Overland Gamer has done for you with a Quatlo spend. Also, hello, the Author 13. Nice to catch you. In essence, that works to help you by allowing you to create small, subtle changes to the narrative. in order to help you basically create small changes that would reshape things, make player conditions easier. You can adjust a trait about a scene or just something small to create something helpful. There are obviously bounds, like it's not an auto-win situation, but it might give you something that within the plot makes sense.
All right, so it's adding narrative potential, but doesn't like increase like a value or something like that. It just makes a beneficial in a more narrative sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And indeed,
Just
the
wanna make
advantages
sure.
can have spillover effect, where maybe like it allows you to reduce difficulty on a task or create complications for an
But
opponent or
that'd be
something.
up to the GM. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You can make the argument to me, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always welcome to ask how you spend it. But yes, so let's see. Yeah, Patel, looking out on the sensor readings ahead, you see out at this distance there is there appears to be a debris cloud, some of an amorphous shape, some 300,000 kilometers in diameter. Large bits of metal, or like metallic mass, some larger components than others, but a lot of it scattered about. Residual energy readings that you're picking up. And yeah, the material, for the most part, appears to be Tellarite in origin.
Do I have life signs from the ships?
There are no signs.
Because I can't detect any, or because there are none? Yeah.
I would
Badly
say,
phrased question.
yeah, it is possible something could have survived on one of those, what remains of, there would possibly be a compartment that could still be pressurized on a ship. I would make an allowance for that if that were where the advantage were to come into play. But as of this moment, there are no life form signs, so nothing that you can see has survived.
I think creating the advantage here would just be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Having survivors. What do you guys think?
Could help
yeah,
with diplomatic relations.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's all right.
They also might be able to tell us what happened.
Yeah, so let's use the advantage in that there are a few scant survivors in the wreckage.
Yep. On one of the hulks near the far end, there would be signs of... there are signs through some interference that you might be picking up some faint bio readings. However, you also tease out, Patel, that you managed to specify at least some of that interference.
It looks like the interference is coming from, if I'm reading it correctly, and I'm pretty sure I am, residual radiation from the use of nuclear weapons.
As I'm kind of standing close to Shira, I would probably kind of lean to the console and look down and kind of ask in a lowish voice, not whispering, but lowish voice. So, what happened? Did they just explode, or did they put up like scatter patterns and stuff? But I have no way of making any roll of that, so I'm literally voicing the question.
No, what do the sensors tell me about what any kind of battle that may have happened?
There isn't as much in the way of residual energy signatures that would have suggested a prolonged battle of any sort. Instead, it seems as though, what limited information you can suggest only showcases the limited power readings. The only major weapon signature you probably pick up are the nuclear weapons that were detonated. A fair number of them, to be sure.
Do I know what races still use nukes?
So I will give you that for free, and I will say that other questions here would come under obtaining information, which, since Patel has succeeded at the sensor task, he does gain a free question, and then I believe as lead science officer, he also gains a second free question.
And I can use Studious to spend a momentum to get another one.
Indeed.
Yep.
That would give you a total of 4 then.
So, who the initial question of who still uses nukes?
That nuclear weapons are used in very limited circumstances. The Kzinti, of course, have been shown to field nuclear ordnance as well. It is increasingly being filtered out, although some Earth ships do also use it as well. You, I believe, still have one nuclear weapon in the Aegis's main, locked in the armory somewhere, and it is present on some Mako vessels. Otherwise, there might be a handful of newcomers, like Corridan, maybe a few other civilizations that recently made the jump to warp drive.
Kind of follow-up question. Are the nuclear weapons that were used made by humans? I suspect that whoever uses nuclear weapons uses slightly different material, etc., depending on where they're from. So I hope that there would be like almost a footprint who made these.
Yeah, which was the cabinet's next thing, was taking a sample of the radiation to see who it belonged to.
So I'll give it, I guess, either to Shira or to Patel, depending on which one of you wants to analyze the weapon signature.
Shira will.
Alright, so... let's see here, just relaying that. So, Shira, you begin tuning through the sensors and running an analysis of the waveforms, trying to match it to the patterns that you have. As you go through the handful of records, the analysis starts to become clearer.
Don't believe this would be a Kzinti ambush. I don't think Terite cruisers would fall prey to them so easily, and the nuclear signature seems to be close to Earth vessels.
How close?
Patel, can you verify?
Yeah, I'll do like a scan of the radioisotopes or something. Like, I imagine we use slightly different I don't know, elements or whatever for the bomb than most other people would.
Yeah,
see if we can identify it that way.
Yeah, it'd be safe to presume that the Kzinti weapons intentionally try to make the after effects of the detonation as nasty as possible, such that anyone would survive. But sure enough, Patel, the readings that you're getting are much more in line with what you would expect from a weapon employed on an Earth ship or most human-made reactors.
Yeah, give that bug over with sort of a grave expression on my face. It looks like these were our weapons, Captain.
Are there any impulse signatures, warp signatures, anything? Romanov, send probes in a wide dispersal.
Launching probes.
It would have been easy for Earthships to have ambushed the Tellarite vessels. Tellarites wouldn't have been expecting a fight.
I don't even need to make a roll to launch a
Nope.
right?
You don't need anything to launch a probe. It would actually, honestly, it would launch from Patel's console. But
Science.
All right.
as part of the readout that you were getting to verify that Patel, you will note earlier from your sensor scan, I said most of it comported to most of the material out there suggested a Tellarite, some sort of material more closely associated with the Tellarite vessels. Interspersed with that, you are getting readings from that would suggest something of a duranium and titanium composite material. Massing, well, something not terribly large, but I'd put it somewhere in a roughly scale 2 size if you accounted for that and the possibility that perhaps something exploded in terms of like an antimatter detonation, a reactor going critical or something of the sort.
Is this particular alloy something that Earth ships use in their construction, or can I identify that much, or is it just like an unknown?
I'm sending one last thing.
I think that's 3 questions that we're up to.
Yep.
Can I ask for free how far away Enterprise is?
Certainly. They are... let's see. They are probably still... I'm going to say for now, they are holding position, continuing their own grid search just to make sure that no one else is like in the area or trying to monitor what's going on. So from the rendezvous site, that is about... They're also just... they're just about 1.5 light years from your position.
Okay. Sifting through the sensor results more, like as I now have time to process all these things, I turn back to the captain and I say, I'm picking up some new wreckage that isn't Tellarite. And he doesn't say anything more. He just looks very concerned.
Bring it up to my chair.
I just shoot the file over to her little chair view screen.
Yeah.
You see that it's Starfleet wreckage, or it is consistent with Starfleet.
Can you determine the class? Jesus. It's the theater quietness, that sort of like just silent grave tone.
It would be smaller than Aegis. I don't know if I can determine exactly which class it belongs to unless certain powers that be want to let me do that.
Yeah. At a scale 2, I would say that's closer to a freighter size, if anything. About the only ship that Starfleet operates which would be closer to that would be something like the old Neptune surveyors, or even older things that are largely decommissioned, like the Starliners of the day.
So mostly like a small short range, or either short range or long haul, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. She just...
clarification, is it Starfleet wreckage, or consistent with Starfleet, or consistent with Earth?
It is very much consistent with the specific construction techniques and the fragments. The material does match pretty closely with Starfleet.
I'd like to make a roll to see if this was faked using my focus of weapons engineering. Because I've done a lot of that stuff and I have a focus in it. Can I take a shot at that?
I think that might need to go into a next session thing, I'm definitely inclined to allow you to take that, and I will even go so far as to let you make that an easier roll with the decrease in difficulty.
Great. We'll do it next session, though, right?
Yeah, just keep that in the back pocket.
So I don't know if we want to do it, but a thought, is there any way that we can have, and this, I guess out of character, is there any way that we can have, like, Crichton or something just quickly pull up, like, a quick fleet status to see if any ships are missing? Like, or anything that's been reported missing?
Crichton could sift through... yeah, actually, I'll have Crichton start sifting through the records. See, pulling up any information now, sir. Mako ship.
Be sure to expand your search to include ships that just haven't checked in on their last like due date.
Okay. Let's see. Active. Running a search query now. It seems as though active starships are, by and large. I'll treat this actually as the player advantage that you get if you would so like. Oh wait, no, we already used that.
We already used that. We can.
I haven't.
Tell you what,
I haven't.
Go ahead.
Zach, I have an offer. I have a talent. Intelligence officer. Once per mission, I can create an advantage by reflecting some detail or insight learned from an intelligence report. Depending on how much insight I have, would I know if, not necessarily even like the military arm of what will be Starfleet, but any Earth vessels are in the area that would count for any of this happening?
I mean,
Like this was a substantial amount of nuclear weapons, and I would assume that at least try to keep back of that. I know we're not very good at it, but we try.
You know, there might have been one report that came across your desk that would have come up as well, and that you might think to relay to Crichton.
Yeah, as Crichton is going through the records, Horn just steps forward as they check the salvage records as well.
Salvage records? What? Oh. Sirs, Crichton says, turning. There was one ship that it remains presently unaccounted for. A support tug had made it out to HD 4558 some weeks ago, and they reported that their target had not been discovered. It was the Neptune-class surveyor Starship Crozier. The name echoes through all of your minds, in particular yours, Sharp, as you remember your pretty much first day on the job, that you were sent to track down a surveyor of that very name.
Yep.
And that is where I think we will cut off for today's session. So this is part 1 of our Season 1 finale. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Oh boy. And yes, the Author 13, it has been a long road getting from there and getting the Enterprise from there to here. They're not here just yet, but oh boy.
They'll most certainly will be next session.
Yep.
I want to stress that at the moment shit was happening, Horn was looking at the captain like, see, you land in the most weird shit. And I know this is Zach's fault, but I'm blaming you. That's why I'm here.
Yep. Well, for those of you in the archive, this is where we are going to leave off for now. I hope that you all enjoyed, and if you ever want to catch these sessions live, then by all means, we air 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually been brought to my attention. Next week, Daylight Savings Time will be striking players in our European time zones. So, or by then it will have occurred, so I think next week, so long as everyone's still okay with it, we should be going at 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If that doesn't work for our Eurozone players, I will work something out, and we will keep everyone up to date. But yes,
So an hour earlier, effectively.
Yep, keep an eye on the socials or the Discord. All links are in the description as usual. Until then, we will see you around. Thank you so much, and have a good one.